Huh?
I think it started one. Yeah, it said like a few minutes.
I missed it a few minutes.
We just turned on the mic now.
The mic wasn't turned on.
Yeah.
The monitor over there should have complained.
The hallway monitor.
No, the hallway monitor, right? All right.
Start.
So why is it Davke Achilas Matzah? Emunah, as we explained, is also at the level of Das. Just like Das, as we said, is this recognition of the truth, of a certain thing, not by virtue of reason or proofs, but just a recognition. This is the truth. So too is the Inyan of Amunah. Amunah is an innate quality that is in the soul, and to strengthen that Amunah, to reveal that Amunah, you need the special, that I say, Achilas Matzah. But what is Amunah? Amunah is, if you say, I have Amunah, you can't ask why. That's what I recognize this is that as a truth. I recognize it. This is the truth. So Amunah is beyond Seichel, so to speak. It's not based on logical proofs.
Emunah is beyond Das.
And Amunah is Das Eliki. Like you said, it's a Lakus, right? There's Das Anushi and Das Eliki.
Das Eloki is the one that's beyond. That's beyond.
Das Anushi.
Right.
Das Anushi, you know your father. Das Eliki, you know Lakus. Okay. However, the principle in this is to understand why it has to be matzah dafke. For it says in the pasuk, "Ve'etz hadas toivora." That in the Gan Eden there was Eitz Hadas, and what is this Eitz Hadas? The Eitz, this Hadas, Tevor Hadas, this is the tree that produces a fruit that if you eat it, it brings out Das, and what kind of Das does it bring out? A Das of Toiv V'Ra, of being able to relate to Toiv, being able to relate to Ra. The Omer Hazal and the Chazal say in Brochus, Daf Mem say from a Dalef. The Gemara says in Brochus, B'inyan ilon she'ochal odom horish. Regarding this ilon, the tree that Odom Harishin ate from. I think it's Rabbi Huda. Huh? I have to check. I don't remember. Okay, you take a look at Brachos.
Yeah, this is like the Rebbe Rashab was like talking to people who were like Bucky from in Shas, so they like when they learned the Maimer after they just all
No, the Rebbe Rashab said the name. He didn't.
Right.
He didn't write. He didn't say Reish Yud, but he said the Maimer.
That's not what I meant. I meant like this must be
Yeah.
written for the people.
Well, no, you can always check.
Yeah, I know.
You find it? What?
It's not an abbreviation, but it says
Okay. I think it's a Yehuda. Chita, the Ilon She'ochal, Odom Yishen, the Buddha in the Chita that it was a Chita. That this tree, the Eitz Hadas, was a Chita, was wheat. And this is the quality that wheat has. That wheat brings out das. Im Kain, which tells us that the Bchinas Chita, that in this element of Chita, Yesh Teiv Vora Denoika. There is both. There is Teiv and Ra. Because the inyan from Eitz Hadas, Teiv or Ra, is not just Eitz Hadas makes you know Teiv. It also makes you know Ra. That means in the Das there is both. In this Das there is Teiv and there is Ra. So, based on what we elaborated before, I want to include that in here. When we say that he knows Tevora, it means that he can see Ra and say, this is Ra. And when he says that this is Ra, it doesn't depend on him being able to explain why is it Ra. This is Ra. This is not a good thing. When he says this is Toiv, he says this is Toiv. Why? I have a feeling for this is Toiv. That's what Das. Although there is of course explanations and so forth, but that's not the Das. This is the Seichel behind it. Das is that I know that this is right and this is wrong. Like for instance, in Das and Nushi, like I pointed out, that you have to let the people off the train first and then go in. So you could say you have to let people off first because it's logical. Because as long as they're standing in the door, they're blocking your coming in. So it becomes more difficult to get in. But that's not Das. That's a logical thing. Das is that it's not appropriate to do that. It's not human. The correct human way is to let people out and don't go in, so that there's no clashes. There's no, you have to wait your turn, so to speak, not to just jump against the wall and then hope the wall is going to dissipate. So this is a different thing than just saying logically this is better than this. The same thing, like I explained, that you teach a child to eat neatly with a spoon, with a fork, not to put his face into the plate and eat like a cat lab. Why? You could argue, because it's more convenient, it's clean. That's not the reason. The reason is that this is more human. This is the right way to do it. This is a dasa. It's true that there are all other elements that come along with it, but that's not the essence. If one knows, for instance, if one knows that you should not steal, because if you steal, the police is going to catch you and throw you into jail. We consider that das. That's not das. Although he will not steal, he doesn't want to be caught. But that's not about das. About das knows you don't steal because you don't steal.
It's wrong.
Because it's not human, you're right. That's right, it's wrong. What's the difference, tachton or oil?
Yeah, right.
It's das.
It's one tachtana that supporting evidence. You know something.
No. Supporting evidence is not das at all.
That's what you said last time.
What?
I think that's what you said last time.
No. Supporting evidence is not das at all. Supporting evidence. So if you understood that, so you must, I may have not clearly said, this is not das. This is external peripheral reasoning. Das means something that you recognize directly. It's a reality.
Did you say like the helicopter when you fly above 770 and like you see the route to it? That's like das sign, but when you know how to get there, like when you're here, you just know how. That's like das tachton or something because you have that supporting evidence. It's like I remember I wrote it down here. I don't know.
Okay, so you look over and see in what context this was said. Okay.
It's like two different situations.
Right. Take a look. You have to remember exactly where, but that's if anything that is just based on evidence is not das. This is called the evidence. This is called bina. I have proof. Das is when it becomes a personal recognition. And the Gemara says that if you find an article, so normally an article, if it has a semen, then you have to announce it and you can return it on the basis of the semen. If it does not have a semen, then there's no way that it can be identified and it's yours. But then there is still a difference between whether this article is an old, well-used article or if it's a brand new article. And what's the difference? The difference is that an old article, a person having used this article for many times recognizes this article as his, even though there's no semen to it. But you can't know whether he is saying the truth or not. So the Gemara said that depends. If he's a Talmid Chacham, you can trust that he's not going to lie. So he can return to him a lost article on the basis of cognizance, even though there's no semen. A semen, anybody can say a semen, and you can return the article to him. You understand what I'm saying?
It's like when you see something that's identical to something that you have, like it alarms you in a way.
What?
When you see like a sweater,
Mhm.
you get alarmed, like that's mine, like right away. You feel like the adrenaline kind of, It's like, and then like, and you notice afterwards that it can't be yours because you're not wearing it.
Well, generally speaking, something that you use a lot of times, you recognize that you feel that this is yours, that you have used it, even if there's no difference between one and the other. This is called recognition. Like twins, two people who are twins. Okay? So you have a difficulty identifying them. But someone who is in common contact with them, who is used to them, identifies them easily. Certainly their parents know them. They don't confuse them. How? Their recognition. It's not based on anything. On a semen.
It's not based on semen.
It's not based on a semen.
Even like subconscious semen.
It's based on the essence of the person. Like I asked you before, you said, if you recognize Menachem, do you say you recognize him because of a semen or because you recognize him to be him? Who is he? What's his name? How do you know?
What?
How do you know? Maybe he's Yankel.
I just know.
Huh?
Because I recognize him.
How do you recognize him?
Because with my eyesight.
Your eyesight. Oh, he has a simon. He's got a beard. There's this element of das. You have to understand. This is a very important element. Quality. This is a part of the koiches ha-nefesh, koiches ha-seichel. That we relate to the truth of something.
It's like when you see like your family, like you see like your brother walking the street, right away you know it's him. Even like he could look similar to someone else, like right away you recognize.
This is the basis. See, this is an important thing that we are discussing. This is the Tanmuna. This is the basis when we say, I believe in the Meibushim. It's, oh, I believe because it's the right thing to believe. It's decent. It's a profound thing, but that's not to believe. That's not enough to carry a person through, difficult situations. Amuna is because it is, you have a direct connection to it. You understand? You have a connection. This is the reality. You can't deviate from it. Huh?
The das that we have, like, is broken up into two categories, or not always? Like, I mean, the das that we have, like the Scotland Meter and das, right? That das is broken up into two categories?
Like what?
Like das Ayin and das Tachton, or that's a separate Indian that hold that? Are the two like separate?
That's a separate. We only have das tachton.
That's
Do not.
das?
But
That's
yeah,
from
das elin means that das the way it is in the higher world. In Atzilus, it's called das elin. We only have das tachton. But we have this das. Like they explained that when you go through a course of study, remember that?
course of study.
You go through, you take a course, right? So after 6 months, they give you a test. What is a test? The test is on paper. They give you a list of questions, and you have to answer the questions. And if you answer the questions correctly, that proves that you know the material that you covered, that you studied. Okay. This is a test on paper. This is a test of your knowledge in terms of Chochmah and Bina. Did you understand what you studied? And do you remember it? Do you know it? Then when you go out into the world, you have a different test. It's called a test of life. You carry it through in life. That's a different kind of a test. That's based on das, on the cognizance. It's not based on knowledge. Like, huh? Cognizance, recognition is called cognizance. That's the difference between a doctor who finished the course and he had all A's in all his tests, and he's not a doctor. Then he goes and works in the hospital for 2 years, and then he apprentices further. 10 years later, he's a doctor. Now he feels and he recognizes, a human health. The same thing a Rav. A Rav learns all the halachas, but he can't pass in a shayla until he actually works with another Rav for a long time. It's called Sheishes. He gets a feel how to pass in a shayla. You understand? It's a different type of thing. It's not just knowledge. It's a personal knowledge of the truth of the Seichel.
Personal experience.
Personal knowledge, not knowledge on the basis of the book, but on the basis of personal recognition. That's called das. And this is what Amunah is. And this is what the Rebbe is asking. So we're saying like this, Eitz HaDas, Toivora. This Eitz HaDas contains both Toivora. And what does it mean, Eitz HaDas, Toivora? It means like this, that he can relate to Toiv and sense this Toiv, and sense the truth of this Toiv. And also Ra, he also feels the Ra element. Now, feeling the Ra element, so the Torah calls it right away, this is Ra. It's evil, and therefore you should stay away from it. But that thing that you should stay away from it becomes a whole battle in the person. Becomes a whole battle. It's not that simple. So, give you an example that we spoke about before about stealing and earning something. B'tzad the toiv, you have a das and you feel good about an article that you worked for and you earned it and you bought it with your own money. It's yours 100% because you earned it. Then you go and there is somebody else's article. And the Yetzer Hara says, there's nothing wrong with it, it's a good watch. You can really use it. You're not going to know the difference. Once it's on your hand, you won't know the difference whether you stole it or you bought it. And you really need this watch. And it looks good on your hand. You understand? So he can relate to that. And becomes a whole challenge. The Toiv says, no, I can't relate to it. And the Ra says, why not? What's wrong with it? You'll be caught, I'm not concerned about being caught. There's no way I'll be caught. This kind of thing. That's peripheral, that's completely outside. Main thing is, can you relate to it, can you use it, or you can't use it? It's a Tevora, it's a Das Tevora. Yeah, he can use it. He can relate to it. Moshe Eitz HaDa'as allows him to relate to Toiv and allows him to relate to Ra. And that becomes a whole battle, an internal battle. That's why it's such a big nisoyin when you're going to business. To be honest in business is a big nisoyin. Why is such a big nisoyin? Nisoyin, a test. It's a test. It's one of the difficult tests in life. To be honest in business. Why? Why are you a liar? Not a liar. Because you feel the value. If I sell this article for twice its value, I'm going to get twice as much money. Right? It's good. I feel the value of this money. Somebody who doesn't have das, klal, so to him, another $100 doesn't mean much. So he doesn't have that test. Somebody who does have das, who appreciates money, to him this is a real test. Okay, so this is what he says over here. that in the Chito yesh teiv v'ra de noiga. There is toiv and ra of noiga. Noiga, and you all know that noiga refers to the klipas noiga. In other words, it's the worldly values. It's called noiga. That which is not kedusha. It's klipa, but it is not ardent, against kedusha. Ardent, I mean, klipa in a closed off manner. It is a klipa that can be dealt with, that can be used for kedusha. It's called noiga, a finer klipa.
What does it mean literally?
Huh?
What does noiga, the word noiga mean?
Noiga means light. It shines through. It's not a total darkness. There's some light shining through. It's called Noiga. So this is going to be discussed. V'hinei chometz hu b'chinas ra de noiga. Chometz is the ra part of noiga. U'matzah hu b'chinas ha-toiv de noiga. Matzah is the toiv of noiga. In other words, chometz and matzah are both referring to a physical piece of food. Right? They're wheat. They're both physical. But they're in the physical element itself. It could be the Ra element and the Toiv element, which we are going to discuss now. I just want to give you kind of an introduction and sense. What's the difference between Chometz and Matzah? Right? This is Toiv Renega, this is Ra Renega. This is going to be discussed. As I said, I'm going to give you a little handle. In essence, everything is created by God. Everything. Everything has a godly spark in it. So how can it be bad? Everything has a godly spark in it. Where is the bad, the Ra element come in? Just like we gave the example before of the watch, the stolen watch. Now, if it comes from Hashem, from that Hashem created it, then it has a process how you get to your hand. Somebody made it, he gets paid for making it, you pay for obtaining it, and it got to you. If you don't have this process, then it doesn't come from Hashem, conceptually. Then you're taking it because it's part of the world. It exists in the world. It's nothing to do with how you got it. It's just there. The union of recognizing the Metzius in the world, just because it exists, not by virtue of how it got there, that becomes Ra. That becomes Ra. This is the same thing, like I say, we eat. We take a fruit and we eat, and the fruit by itself, if you're going to eat the fruit just because it's there, that's Ra. But make a bracha, and we say we're eating the fruit because Hashem made it, that becomes Tov. Connect it back to its source. And this is the noiga of this world, is capable to conceal and make it unrecognizable, to make a person's blind to recognize that this is really a godly creation. And he takes it just because it exists in the world. If it only because it exists in the world, it becomes Ra. If it is in the world because Hashem made it, then it's automatic. This is the difference. So now we have chometz and matzah. Chometz and matzah are exactly the same wheat, the same flour. The difference is only that matzah is the flour just the way the Rebbe made it. It doesn't expand, it doesn't make a fuss on its own. The Rebbe made flour, and you flour and water, and you eat it. Chometz is where the flour rises up and builds up on its own from the world itself. It grew as flour, but now it builds up on its own. That means that there is a kind of the emphasis that this is a real presence in the world. And this is the Radanoiga. Something that becomes emphasized on its own, Mitzias and so on, that's Ra. In Noiga.
If the flowers, like the fleet pie, have the potential of either being good or bad.
That's right. So then, you can use it in a proper way when you make a bracha and so forth. But this is the homage. It says homage is Rad Noiga, and Matzah is the Toiv Noiga. Matzah is the, why is it Toiv? Because this is like a Noiga, it's the world. But it's the world without claiming anything of its own. I'm just with the Rebbe's to make. Homage is claiming something in my own. The Rebbe's made me fly, but look what I can do. then becomes a Reira. Then you have to be careful how you use it.
Is there a Sheishes between that flower with when we left Messiah? How it was made from the sun?
How what?
Is there a connection with that to when we left
Mitzrayim. Yeah, well, Mitzrayim, this was the thing in Mitzrayim. At the time when we left Mitzrayim, this is the moment when Emunah had to be implanted in the Jewish people, so that they relate exclusively to the godly element. This is what we're going to discuss.
So when the flower rose in their back, or didn't it?
It didn't last.
When it was made, is that a parallel like connection between how does that connect with?
In Mitzrayim, they made the dough, and it didn't rise. It didn't rise because there was a godly revelation.
It didn't rise by itself.
That's right. That's what it says. This will be it's going to come up here. That there is that element in time of Mitzrayim that it just didn't rise. Why? Because it was such a great godly revelation that the Ra was nispat.
So you're saying it's just a revelation like then, like as now, like in someone's house, the bread can't rise.
That's right.
That's a nice goal.
Okay, so gentlemen, this will be it. We skipped the paragraph on Ayin Tes. We didn't learn that one. We go straight to pay. You don't have pay, right? Okay, so Shmuel, you're going to give. Oh, you have it here. Okay, you just look at it.
Has it?
No, he doesn't. You want a copy? Okay, this is what we started. We're going to continue. You learned a few lines. Ask Menachem Shmuel, you can ask him. And we will continue in Mitzvah on Wednesday. Okay?
Doesn't feel like a few.
What? Does it feel like a few lines? Main thing is that you'll be tamed what it feels like. It's a few lines, but there's a lot between the lines.
More than a lot.
Like the Tanya, English lesson Tanya, gives you the lines, it's like a whole paragraph.
Hey, Rabbi, you said Rabbi Yechanan before the Reish and the Yid. You said Mizel Lamed Rabbi Yechanan She'etz Hadas Chita Hais.
Or Biechel, oh maybe. Okay, so I must have looked it up then. Okay. Okay. So it could be a thing.
Right now.
Well, okay.
Mem.
Mem Beis on the dollar.
After Mem?
Mem Beis.
Oh, you mean it's mistaken here?
Mine says.
It says Daf Mem, Soif Amid Al.
Oh,
End of Amid Al. Check it Mem.
yeah. It's,
Yeah, because it's still like another discussion.
Where's the same? Where's the you from?
I don't know.